Hello and welcome to Sweet Shot Games Dota 2 Pub Stomping with Crystal Maiden Guide. Crystal Maiden is a great aggressive support and has been getting a lot of buffs lately, so I think she's been getting even better now. She also works especially well in a tri-lane, but of course is just as good in a dual lane. To start with, get either the Courier or Observer wards, and if the rest of your team is picking those up, then pick up a Sentry ward. If you get the Observer wards, either hand them over to your hard lane solo, that way they can ward the pole camp on the other side, or put them there yourself, or just put a ward on the rune spot. If you get the Sentry wards, save those for de-warding your own polling camp. Then get a Tango, a Salve, and 2 Clarity Pots, and then fill out the rest of your inventory slots with Iron Branches. Crystal Maiden's skill build can be made to fit any situation that you might find yourself in, but typically I like to max out the Frostbite first, and then the Arcane Aura, and finally the Crystal Nova, and then put a point into your ultimate at levels 10 and 11. Now I like the Clarity Pot since that way I could skip putting a point into Arcane Aura for the first few levels if I feel that would be the better option. However, in this game I decided to pick it up early since I could tell that my teammates would definitely need the extra mana, and that way we can spam even more. Of course, as a support, don't forget to stack and pull. This will be very important for keeping the creeps near your own tower, making it safe for your carry to farm. As you can see here, I was a little bit late getting to the jungle creeps, and so I wasn't able to stack them. So if I left a little bit early, perhaps I could have done that. However, they were already stacked once, so this way I was at least able to pull them once the next creep wave came into range. Now, upgrading the Courier and getting some wards is top priority as a support. However, if you're doing everything right and your team is helping you out a little bit, then you should be able to save up for some quick boots. Boots are extremely important on Crystal Maiden, and that's because of her extremely low base movement speed, and of course because she's naturally squishy. This is why I recommend the Tranquil boots. They give really good movement speed, some extra armor, and HP regeneration, and of course the active, which gives you 250 HP over 20 seconds. On top of all that, they're the cheapest boots in the game, which is perfect for a hard support. Crystal Maiden is a great early game support, and that's because all of her abilities synergize really well with your laning partners. She's got 2 different crowd control abilities which are great for locking down your opponents, and then her aura, which will give you and your teammates extra mana to be able to spam more of your abilities. So when you're not stacking or pulling, hide in the jungle and look for opportunities to gank your opponents. If it doesn't look like you can get a gank, just try to harass them back and away from your carry. With 1 or 2 solid laning partners, you can easily pick up a few kills. So look for the opportunities to be aggressive. This is very important because Crystal Maiden doesn't scale as well as some other supports into the late game. However, she still can be very useful. If you're going up against a duel or a tri-lane, sometimes it's better to just go after the supports instead of the carries. After a few failed attempts going after Slark, who can be pretty elusive, we ended up just focusing on the Vengeful Spirit, who we found to be much easier to kill. I also want to mention really quick that if you're dead and have an opportunity to buy back to save a teammate, or if you see a team fight starting, then it might be a good idea to do so. Just use your best judgment. As you can see here, I thought that the Juggernaut might be in trouble, and I saw that there's kind of a team fight starting at the bottom lane, so I bought back. Even though I only had maybe 7 or 8 seconds left on my respawn timer, I decided early game it wasn't too expensive for me to do so, and I think it ended up helping our team. Crystal Maiden's ultimate can be tough to use, and that's why I recommend getting it at level 10 and 11, since you most likely won't need it before then. It's a channeling ability, so most of the time opponents can either stop you during it or just run away. However, if you do get a good ultimate, that can change the team fight. Crystal Maiden is very good in team fights, so generally you want to stay in the back and use your abilities whenever they come off cooldown. most likely as the hard support. In a team fight, you're going to die first. But if you can make it harder for your enemies by juking and using your abilities at the right time, then it will benefit your team to be more of a distraction to your opponents and keep them away from your other teammates. Also, as the hard support, you're probably not going to have the amount of cash to play around with as another role. So you might end up just having to stick with boots and a magic wand. However, if you do get some extra cash, go for the standard support items such as Mechanism and a Drum of Endurance. Now go stomp some pubs with Crystal Maiden and let them know how you got so pro.